Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Big Rican on Sports podcast. I am your host. I am the Big Rican. It is Wednesday, June 30th. How are we to July already? And we know what happens in the month of June. The pretenders are taken out of the pennant races. And that means, maybe good things for both of us all summer. As you can see, I have Alex from row 7 here. Alex, as always, it is an honor and a privilege to talk baseball with you. I am going to do one with you about the NBA at some point in time because you and your brother go in on it, and I love it, especially with the injury to Giannis last night. But I want to start off by saying thank you for your and your brother's point of view on the whole sticky stuff debate in your last episode. That was a great listen. For anybody who's listening now or watching the YouTube replay, row 7, him and his brother dove into this, and your brother was out of state when you did the show.
He was in first. Thanks for having me on, Mike. I'm always in talking baseball and any other sport as far as I'm concerned. But when we go into the bread and butter and baseball, that is for both of us, I can talk for days. So, yes. In terms of it, my brother was in where was he at? Nashville, I want to say Nashville area for a job site. So I was able to kind of schedule some time out there, and he gave me a little bit of time that he had with the busy schedules that we all got going on right now.
Absolutely, and yes, we could talk for days, but I can't stay awake that long. I'm a little tired. Believe it or not, he's going to be 2 months old on the 11th, or 3 months old on the 11th already.
That is wild.
I know.
It is wild.
Because when we did the last time you and I were on together was the draft wrap up, and he was still in the hospital.
Right.
He came home May 14th, and let me tell you something. He is over 8 pounds already. He's yelling in the background now. But he's doing great. I really no complaints other than I'm tired.
He's just letting you know he's around, and, he might need a little bit of help here and there, and, you got his back.
Yeah, exactly. So one thing real quick, and I want to dive into what we were talking about before we went on. I said I was on with Willie and Nat over the weekend because you and I were going to do Sunday, and I was just shot. But with Willie having – certain times he's got to fill, I jumped in with him and Natalie. We talked about the injury to the kid from Cleveland, too. That was bad.
That was brutal. That was tough to see.
And they love him out there.
Oh, yeah.
And with Natalie Natalie's doing, if you follow her on Twitter, Nat Sports Chat, she is doing background pieces on the rookies because the Indians have the youngest roster in the game. And she had just done the one on the kid he collided with.
Ooh.
So, yeah, it was rough. But I said to Willie, Willie, it was weird on Saturday. Bobby needed to be changed, and he peed all over his Mets onesie, and they started hitting. So I don't know what we need to do here.
You know what happened.
Exactly. So as I said, we're going to do a lot of baseball tonight. Actually, we're going to do all baseball tonight. But I wanted to get into something at first, and that is my new hero in Major League Baseball, none other than Chicago White Sox right-handed ace, Lucas Giolito. Okay, what exactly happened that he's going after Donaldson? Because don't get me wrong, I like Donaldson, but I love when pitchers clap back.
So my understanding is it was very early in the game, two batters in. Donaldson hit a 2-run bomb. And as he was rounding third base and coming home, you can see him kind of gesturing with his hands, and he apparently mouthed to his to the bench, basically saying like, "No more sticky stuff." So nothing really unfolded until after the game, when Giolito actually seen the video and basically said, "If you have something to say it to my face, not to your bench, who your boys probably used the same stuff in previous games, up until now." And my understanding is that there was some type of interaction after the game in the parking lot where basically Donaldson went up to him and said, "Do you have, is there something we need to hash out?" And Giolito basically he didn't really say much, but he said what he had to say in his presser. And I don't know if you happen to hear anything about that, but basically, he's a punk, for the lack of a better term. I got the W. Our team got the W, and your boys are in last place. So
that's why he's my new favorite. I mean, he was dropping F-bombs left, right, and center. It was great. And listen, no disrespect to Josh Donaldson, because the bringer a ring can hit. Giolito is on the list of guys who don't need that.
Correct.
who never needed that. You and Chris in that episode hit on the whole Jacob deGrom thing, with all the Mets coming to his defense. And I will say, if he did use it, he's throwing 27 out perfect games on what's 27 times 3? 27, 54, 81 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
3 pitches a dude. No,
Yep.
It's not happening. He's too good. And you don't throw a $102 with sticky stuff on your hands.
Right. Exactly. So go ahead.
Go on with the Giolito thing.
So, I mean, that's really where it ended. And I mean, obviously, we're going into game 2 of the series. They're playing a 3-gamer. They got one tonight right at 7 o'clock our time. So, first pitch here in like just a couple minutes. And I'm probably expecting a little bit of fireworks. There could be a little bit of, chirping back and forth, maybe a little bit of beanball. I'm not really exactly sure. But it's looking like it's kind of trending in that direction right now.
Who's on the bump for your boys tonight as I go look at it real quick?
Dylan is going tonight.
And Ober is going for Minnesota. He a rookie?
I want to say yes, because I'm not super familiar with him.
Okay. Didn't we all have Minnesota competing in that division though?
We did, and I've mentioned it several times on your podcast, on my show as well too. Basically saying like they were going to be in the hunt, and for them to be 12 and a half or 13 games out is kind of mind-boggling to me. I don't exactly know what it is or what's going on with that roster. I know it's probably a little bit injury related, and they're without Byron Buxton, so he's a solid cog at the top of that lineup for sure. And then defensive.
Yeah, but with all due respect to Minnesota and their fans, if any listen, don't talk to either one of us about injuries.
No, God no. I have no sympathy.
You don't. Did you watch the graphic I sent you at 3:00 this morning, my time, when I was up feeding the baby?
I did.
Did you notice in the back they had Pilar with the thing on his face?
Mm-hmm.
He was playing the outfield over the weekend against Philadelphia, and he had the thing on his face and the sunglasses on. It was hilarious.
Oh, gosh.
And then yesterday before the game, exactly, Chipper Jones actually went up to him and grabbed him by the face and was checking him out. It was hilarious.
I got to give a little nod to him as well too for using the bloody bat and getting some hits and a homer off of it, right?
It wasn't bloody. That was pine tar. He came out and said it wasn't.
Oh,
but
okay.
everybody on that team told him, including Alonso, who's hilarious. He's like, dude, you say it's the bloody bat. It's like getting in a fight and go and look at the other guy when you actually trip down the stairs.
Uh-huh.
We've all done it.
Yeah, we've been there.
Exactly. So, listen, your boys are playing outstanding, especially with the injuries and the fact that their manager is geriatric.
He is. There's points in the game where I'm just like, this man just woke up. He don't know where he's at right now. I kid you not. It was kind of funny. I was watching the game last night, sitting on the couch, and they had like an 8-minute rain delay because they put the tarp half on the field and then took it off. And then they took it off, and they panned to the dugout, and you could just look at TLR, and he was just like, just puzzled as to where he was and what day it was.
Well, hold on. In all due defense to somebody who could have, be my grandfather, when you put the tarp half on and run it back off, I think people our age are making that same look.
I mean, I was confused, and I was sitting at home on my couch. I was just like, what is going on? Why, you can even see players like gesturing like, no, it's not necessary. It's just like, it was just a cloud basically.
Yeah.
And it was over in minutes. So
what is it with these towns around lakes and getting that? Because we used to get them in Cleveland all the time.
I don't know what it is, but I feel like every time my guys have a homestand, at least a minimum of 2 or 3 of their games are, rain delays or rain outs.
How many doubleheaders are you guys playing? Because the Mets are at the tail end of 33 games in 31 days.
They don't have any doubleheaders coming up right now, but I know they have one. I think maybe at like sometime in middle or end of July against the Twins because of Monday's game got rained out,
Okay.
and it didn't rain Monday night. I don't know why they called it.
Because it's, I don't know. The Mets had this. The Mets had the opposite, where they shouldn't have started a game, and they did. And it was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So speaking of my boys, right now they are 2-2 in Atlanta. Speaking of watching the game last night, I went to bed a little early because I've been up most of the night with Bobby the night before. And I fell asleep 2 pitches before McCann hit the home run. Literally 2 pitches before McCann hits the home run to tie it. And they get the big win last night. But we'll do my boys next. Let's jump into what we think about the testing, or not the testing, the inspection, because we had our first culprit. And as I mentioned, when they were putting it in the the Ziploc bag, I honestly thought they'd have like an evidence bag from like NCIS or CSI, because that'd be hilarious.
You would think
it, or something that there's a chain of custody. They put that thing in a John Cena touted Glad bag, for God's sake. But as I said, best part about it, someone put it to the theme from Cops. I thought that was wonderful.
That's fantastic. Fantastic.
So where are you on that? Because let me throw mine out there, because like I said, your show has actually had some of your opinion on it. I have no issue with it. I really don't. And here's why. And I'm going to use a pitcher as an example. But there's a guy who got a $300 million contract who now is nothing what he was.
I think I know who you're talking about.
You know exactly who I'm talking about.
I think I know who you're talking about.
He's the second best pitcher in the city of New York, who is making $180 million more than the best pitcher in New York. So yeah, I have no problem with them doing this. Who could that be? I've given up 7 home runs in 3 starts. Anyway, so he has. So
you're right.
It makes a lot of sense though, because he wasn't using it in Pittsburgh and he was garbage. And then he went to Houston where they all cheat. And then he goes to the Yankees. I mean, come on. It doesn't take a rocket scientist or someone who checks the inflated balls for you. I had to do that too.
You did.
Because I had to do that because of an announcement at the end of the show. So I have no problem with it. I think the way they're doing it is judicious. But I'm going to let you go off on Joe Girardi first, because I had in when I was on Willie's show on Sunday on the hashtag Family of Baseball podcast, which, by the way, we still got to get you on. What did you, besides the word Bush League and the other BS word that comes with that, what did you think of Joe Girardi? Did you want Max Scherzer to knock him out?
I 100% wanted Max Scherzer to go bat crazy on him. I 100% did, because the look in his eyes was just like, I will murder this man. That's how Scherzer looked at him, just like eyeing him as he was walking towards his bench. I mean, listen, I'm not the biggest fan of it. What Girardi did was absolutely childish. The fact that you had to check Scherzer multiple times and then one time in the middle of an inning, not even at the end of an inning. Why? You know what Scherzer has done. You see his track record. He's had success throughout his entire career. Why would he cheat now? I don't understand it.
You're preaching to the choir. Now, I will expand on something else. The first pitcher checked was Jacob deGrom, which no one seems to remember. But Sergio Romo was hilarious.
I loved the pantsing. I liked it. That was good.
I thought he was going full Monty on that.
I didn't know what I was ready to change it right when he did it. I didn't know what was coming.
Was your wife sitting there? You cover her eyes, stuff like that?
Yeah. Just look away.
There's nothing to see here.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, you and I are on either side of the fence of this. But you know what? I also see, like, Pete Alonso's side of it. If these guys are getting better grip, I mean, look what happened to Pilar. We're talking about the mask and everything else. That was pretty scary.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So if they have better grip with it, Jeff Passan was on Pat McAfee's show, which my son loves his stand-up, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
You have to watch some of it. It's great. Jeff Passan is convinced that Major League Baseball will come up with a substance that players can use to help with the grip, but it'll be uniform. So everybody will know it's there. Everybody will know it's being used. It's presented to them by Major League Baseball. There are certain pitchers who don't need it. Scherzer, Giolito, Keuchel, and we'll go with my boy as well. So listen, competitive advantage, everybody's trying to get one. You steal a sign from second base, great. You figure out a pitch sequence, great. But when you're putting stuff on there that's going to bust up your spin rate and you're going to go from decent big arm pitcher to a $400 million wannabe social mediaite, see who we're getting into next, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned a $400 million social mediaite. Trevor Bauer going to get through this season without getting handcuffs thrown on him?
No, he is not. He is not. I was actually just out there, out in LA a couple weeks ago on a little vacation.
Real quick, who was on the bump when you went that night?
I got Kershaw, so I got I got to see some. I mean, he took the loss that day. They faced the Phillies, and Zach Wheeler was on another level. So props to him on that. But seeing Kershaw out there and just kind of, you can hear him when he's throwing the ball, the amount of energy he's exerting on each pitch. He's bringing it every single time. So,
listen, there are certain pitchers who don't pitch for the Mets that I want to see, because I've seen Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, I've seen Al Leiter. Believe it or not, I never saw Doc, even though I got the shirt on from the 7 line tonight. Who else have I seen? I've seen Santana. I saw Bartolo. Well, listen, I saw Bartolo, Harvey, and Matz in Cleveland in 2016 when I went out there. And, of course, Bartolo was great. Harvey, that's when he was hurt, but I had the Batman mask on. Yes, my wife went to a game with me when I had the cowl on for Harvey. And then my dad loves Steven Matz. So that was great that we got to see him. But I want to see guys like Kershaw, guys like Scherzer.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see great pitching, because as much as people who aren't big fans like you and I don't like pitchers' duels, I adore them.
Oh,
I adore them.
I'm a fan. I love to see guys go out there and just throw gems.
Yeah.
And this is obviously predating it, but this is knowing that they're going out there without anything in their glove, without anything on the arm, without anything in the mitt. They're just going out there and tossing 7, 8, 9 quality innings and getting the quality part. That's what I love.
Agreed. Real quick, speaking of pitching, I want to give a shout out and thoughts and prayers to Mike Soroka. That's tough. That is tough. Did you hear how he did it?
Yes. Yeah. Walking. Yeah. Unbelievable.
That's rough. And let me tell you something. Atlanta's in real trouble, because unfortunately Atlanta's problem is their pitching and their bullpen. Charlie Morton's been great. Max Fried, who's going tonight, gave up a 2-run dinger to the Polar Bear in the first, and of course David Peterson couldn't hold a lead to save his life. Sorry.
It's okay.
But I no longer want Edwin Diaz deported, by the way. Well, if he don't make the All-Star team, there's a problem. Did you ever think you'd hear me say that?
No, I did not.
There you go.
The vitriol that you had for Edwin Diaz, I never thought he would see the light of day again.
Well, that and Timmy Trumpet kind of get me going.
Okay.
His entrance music, have you heard it?
Mm-mm.
Go look it up.
Okay.
City Field loses its mind. Mr. and Mrs. Met are playing the trumpet with it.
Oh.
It's great. So that was rough. I love watching Soroka go. That's what I said it to Willie on Sunday. I love watching him go, and to see him not be there now. This is going to be another year, another season too. He's not going to be there next year either. Atlanta's in real trouble because their bullpen is extremely suspect, much like Philadelphia's. Philadelphia's blown 21 saves already. Atlanta quite hasn't done that, but it's suspect. The Nationals' rotation is suspect. Hopefully my boys are getting healthy, so I wanted to bridge into my boys real quick. The Mets have the second largest divisional lead in the game. There are 3 games up. The biggest one is 5.5. And that is Boston won again.
Oh, I'm looking at. I think I was looking at the NL Central. Milwaukee's going on a tear right now.
I see the Packers were up 14-7 on the Bears today.
They were. Milwaukee's got a 6-game lead on the Cubs. They swept them as of today.
Really? So let's go to the standings real quick on here. The Mets lead is up to 2.5 as Washington won today to get to 2 games over 500. And the Mets, of course, just lost the lead or lost the tie. Yeah, Milwaukee's up 6. San Francisco out of nowhere.
I don't know how they're doing it.
Up 1.5 games. Boston up 2.5 on Tampa, 6.5 on Toronto. Oh, the Yankees are down 7.5. Your boys have a 2.5 game lead in the Central. And by the way, Detroit at 12.5 in third place is wonderful to see.
Finally turning the corner.
And of course, Houston now holds a 1.5 game lead over Oakland. A lot of chalk from what we said early in the season, but the surprises. Because talking about the Mets, if you'd have told me they'd have had 17 guys in the IL, we would have gotten nothing out of Cookie. Thor would have had setback when he was supposed to be back in June. Now he's back in September. At one point in time, Pete, McNeil, Conforto, Nimmo, J.D. Davis, DeGrom, who else? Everybody and their mother was on the IL. And we got a 2.5 game lead. At worst, a 2 game lead at the end of June. I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it.
I mean,
so I don't know how they're doing it. And they've got nothing out of Lindor.
I mean, he's just starting to get heated up a little bit. He's got his games where, 2-3 hits, maybe a dinger, maybe 2 dingers. But you're talking about basically July, and he's finally kind of catching that stride. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, and now they're getting healthy. Conforto's back. Alonso's healthy. As I said, he hit one tonight, but it's 4-2 Atlanta right now. McNeil's back. I don't know if J.D. Davis, we're going to see him at all. But I'll take, and now VR, who was playing for him, is on the shelf.
Ugh.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's the snake bitten crap is starting to drive me nuts. But I want to go into something I downloaded the other day. And that is, very simply, I took a picture of the television because it read like this. Through his first 12 starts, Jacob deGrom was 7-2 with a 0.50 earned run average. 72 innings pitched, 27 hits. 117 strikeouts to 10 walks. His ERA ballooned on Saturday to 0.69. It is the second lowest ERA since they started counting it in 1914. Bob Gibson was at 1.5 at this point in time when he went 1.12. You have gone on the record to give Ohtani the MVP award. I'm not disagreeing with you. For the first time since Clayton Kershaw, could a National League pitcher win the MVP?
Yes.
What do you think the last numbers have to be? Because I threw a couple out there. I threw 16 wins, 250 to 300 strikeouts, and breaking the ERA record. Like a sub 1. I think he'd have to be sub 1.4 in order to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would say 16, 17 wins. I think he can honestly do like probably a 1.3 ERA, honestly.
I think he could too.
I really think he could. I mean, and as far as like everybody else in the National League right now, yeah, you got some decent players and some credible guys out there who are making noise. But this guy on the bump, he's striking out what average of 8+
14.
a game.
14.
14. Okay. He's getting hit. He's getting clutch hits. He's scoring. He's
Exactly.
RBIs for your team.
He has one less run batted in than earned run allowed.
I mean,
and he's only playing every fifth day.
Yes. So, I mean, at this point, can if you guys play an American League team, can he be like your pinch hitter or designated hitter? Because
He has pinch hit.
Okay, so what can't he do?
Apparently nothing, because he was wrestling somebody and Stone Cold stunned him in the outfield yesterday in Atlanta.
I did see that he was doing some Greco stuff, and then he pulled off a center. So, put him on the mat pretty soon. I don't have another answer for this man.
I don't either. And I got to tell you, my favorite part about him isn't the numbers. It's it's the way he does it. Because if you notice, if you go back to his first start in Philadelphia, 24 straight fastballs, none of them under 98. He was averaging 94.5 when he came up in 2014. He's averaging 98.9 now.
And what's even more mind-boggling is because I've seen that first game. I think it was their first game against Atlanta. He takes the bump. He goes out there. He's facing Acuna, who is no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. He strikes him out on 3 pitches, and two of which were 99 miles an hour. And you
had a slow gun.
I had a slow gun.
The strikeout pitch was 102.
Okay, so he's throwing 99 effortlessly.
That's the thing, because everybody's like, "Oh, what's he on?" He has changed his mechanics. If you watch even that 2015 start against Kershaw in the playoffs, when he started throwing up in the zone more, he has changed his mechanics, and his arm slot has changed. That's why he's doing so well. I did make a comment on Sunday that if Dave Roberts didn't start him in the All-Star game, he needs to be slapped. But DeGrom's going to pitch on Sunday. He does not want to pitch in the All-Star game. He understands that this team's got a chance to win a division and go deep into October. Just so you know, in Major League Baseball, Gausman from the Giants, who's having an amazing year, is the second lowest earned run average in all baseball. He's a run higher. Okay. A full run. It's 1.68. DeGrom's at 0.69. And he goes tomorrow, by the way, in Atlanta.
Okay. So he's missing the Mets series or the Subway series this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh.
If they would have skipped him and pitched him on Friday, it was him and Garrett Cole.
Oh, why would they not? Come on.
I know. They don't have any.
That goes in a billboard, man.
So you're going to get Thomas Szapucki, who is their top pitching prospect, a left-handed hard thrower. You're going to get him and Cole. Tyler McGill, who pitched last night, has been great. I hope Cookie's ready. I love watching him go.
Is he close at all, or are you not?
End of July.
Oh, ugh.
End of July. Very quietly, by the way, Trevor Bauer struck out 137 hitters already.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the pitching leaders in MLB. DeGrom at 0.69, 2 pitchers tied with 10 wins. Bauer has 137 strikeouts. DeGrom's whip is 0.53. The batting average against is 115. Major league pitchers are averaging 120. He is holding the best hitters on the planet to a lower average than pitchers.
It's just unfair.
And ask your boy Tatis about facing Jacob DeGrom.
He don't like that guy. He don't like that.
But he said, listen, I'm having a great year, but what Jacob DeGrom is doing is historic. So Subway Series this weekend, you know where my focus is going to be, obviously. I get my second vaccination Saturday, so I might be out of commission, very possibly. But I'm not missing that. I get up for that every year. So give me one surprise so far this year that's not the Minnesota Twins, that has you kind of shaking your, and it not the guys we talked about, not Bauer, not DeGrom. Give me a surprise that has you shaking your head like, yeah, didn't see this coming.
In a positive light or in a negative light?
How about one of each?
I would say positive. I mean, you mentioned them right there, the San Francisco Giants. What they're doing right now in the NL West, that's nothing but competitive. That race between those three teams is going to be a dog race to the end.
Yeah.
So shout out to them, because besides Gausman, I cannot name anybody else in that roster, and that's an indictment on me as a baseball fan. But I guess I do not follow a team.
I can name one guy on that team, Wilmer Flores.
Oh, okay.
That's my guy. I love Wilmer.
Yeah, I remember his days when he was with the Mets and he was traded and kind of lost it in the field. It was full of emotion.
That home run set off a run to the World Series. That home run and the deal for Cespedes.
Yeah.
So let's just do a positive one, because the negative ones we can go all day, because I don't feel like talking about Bauer and his issues. My positive is my other hometown, and that is the Cleveland Indians. They are giving your boys a run for their money, and no one saw it coming because they're hitting. No one saw this. When you, Tones, and I went back and forth, we all agreed their pitching would keep them in the race. Shane Bieber's been out. I mean, it's what Cleveland is doing is great, and they're not getting any press because the Browns are going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an indictment because, like you mentioned, Bieber's out. Plesac, is he out as well too?
Plesac has pitched well, but I think he's on the shelf after his last start. Let me take a look.
Gotcha. And I know Tristan McKenzie has also had kind of a little bit of an up and down season. I think he might actually be even in the minors right now. So for them to pull this off, kudos to them, because if it wasn't for that, it could be a double-digit lead in the AL Central. And my boys have not exactly played fantastic baseball in the last 2 weeks. So,
well, your boys too. It's more their injuries than anything else. You are missing two of the biggest cogs in all the entire American League. So I don't think that they are missing anything. I don't think that they're should be held accountable for poor play. They're missing main pieces.
Yeah, but I mean, they definitely got exposed. What was it, 2 weekends ago in Houston? They got swept 4 straight in Houston, and then they went on a 2-game trip to Pittsburgh and split. And as far as I'm concerned, that split to Pittsburgh was just that was was
rough.
That was a gut punch, to say the least. But I mean, we're staying afloat. We're 12 over 500 at least right now. I'm not exactly sure what their record is, but the fact that they're there right now, my boys are kind of getting to the spot where they're getting healthier. I know they've got kind of guys going in on and off of the IL, but Eloy sounds like he's probably back in like a month, and probably Luis Robert maybe back in 6 weeks. So
that's huge. That's massive.
So if we can get those 2 guys back and maybe add a piece or 2 at the trade deadline, maybe make some noise.
I won't ask you about the trade deadline, because that will be the big conversation in 2 weeks. As I mentioned on the previous episodes, and I'm going to tell everybody now, on Wednesday night, the 14th of July, the baseball podcasters will ride once again as we do our live first half review and second half preview, where we will focus not only on what's going to happen in the second half. We will not only give our predictions for the end of the year, we will also go into who is moving. But after today and the whooping they took, I think Chris Bryant is going to be gone. He'd look real good in that.
Can you stop asking for more pieces? Damn.
I would just like someone to be. They're down 5-2. I need pieces. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
So there's that. One last question. for you, because then we're going to wrap this up soon. I got baby bath time tonight and maybe some sleep for myself. So I mentioned that you and your brother talk big about the NBA, and I'll send you the picture. Bobby's got his Cavaliers PJs that he wears.
Nice.
Because got something wrong with me. I'm going to make two statements, and I want your reaction to them. One, Kevin Durant might be the most overrated superstar in NBA history. And two, if LeBron James can take that team from 2007, that dumpster fire, to the finals, and KD can't beat Milwaukee, why are we considering him one of the best players ever? Go.
Yes, to the first question, he is a little bit of a crybaby, if I may say as well, too. A little bit of a whiner.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. Okay, fair enough. I mean, and then the fact that he decides to like really waste his time and engage with these people and these reporters on Twitter, it's quite childish of him, if I may say. I mean, your job is to focus on basketball and to get better at basketball and to lead your team to the promised land. And I know he had, James Harden, who was, on one leg, and Kyrie Irving, who was out. But I mean, with the squad that you had and the squad that they put together to get to the promised land and go to the finals, and you didn't get the job done, doesn't exactly bode well for you. I'm sorry.
I'm going to throw three names at you that were on that Cavaliers team. As a matter of fact, let me give you the starting five for Game 3 of the finals that year in 2007.
Please do.
LeBron. Drew Gooden. Sasha Pavlovich. Daniel Boobie Gibson. Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
Wow.
Eric Snow. Scott Pollard. The wild thing. Anderson Varejao. That's his bench. And he took that team through the Pistons and got to the finals. You had Blake Griffin, James Harden, Kyrie Irving for the majority of that series, and you couldn't get past Milwaukee, who was Giannis and Chris Middleton.
No, I got no rebuttal for you. I'm sorry, I just don't. And I know he played 46, 7, 8 minutes. I get it, but when your team needs you most, and you know that they're going to go to you, you got to have that clutch gene. I'm sorry.
Game 1, 2018 finals, LeBron played over 50 minutes, went 51-8-8 and lost, and they called him a choker. 51-8-8.
Still, he needed to go 58-9-9.
Exactly. So, Alex, tell us where we can find Row 7 and what's coming up.
So, Row 7 is all over Twitter for sure. And then you can also stream us on Apple, Deezer, Stitcher, Google, Spotify, iHeart Podcast, Amazon Podcast. We're all over the place. Planning another quick podcast with my brother tomorrow, as he is still on the road. He's now in Kentucky, so I will see if I can catch him tomorrow and record a quick podcast. We'll dive into a little bit of baseball, maybe touch base on a little bit of basketball, because now Giannis is out. Trey is out potentially. So who's left in these playoffs? It's tough.
Well, at least you're playing in the playoffs. At least you're talking about the playoffs. My boys are talking about they're going to trade Colin Sexton or not.
Why would they do that?
Because it's the Cavs.
Oh my gosh! I mean, do you guys have a first round pick in the draft? NBA draft? Third?
Number 3.
Oh, we don't even have one in the first round. How about that?
If they trade Sexton, because you have Sexton, you have Darius Garland. Okoro was second-team All-Rookie. I love Dean Wade. I love Jared Allen. Kevin loves playing the Olympics because he wants to be ready for next year.
He's sticking around then?
Yeah, he doesn't want to leave Cleveland. He's told him. He's like, I don't want to leave. I understand you got to do what you got to do, but understand I want to be here. And listen, when you choose Cleveland, that's a lot. That's a lot. So I teased a big announcement when I messed with Tom Brady and the footballs. Here is why. For the first time in 9 years, I will be spending Thanksgiving on the north coast of Cleveland. I will be in my sister's house for Thanksgiving dinner. But on Friday, I will be doing the second fanatical preview of the biggest game of the year. The game between the Buckeyes and that stupid team up north. But I will be doing it from my parents' house in Northeast Ohio, where you think I'm crazy here. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Are you going to paint yourself red?
Maybe. Well, here's the best part. My cousin's wife, her father, who was a full stripe commander in the Coast Guard, her mother, her brother, her aunts, uncles, they all went to U of M. I walked into the rehearsal for their wedding in Scarlet and Gray in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. I don't care.
Wow.
Best line of the weekend, though, goes to the commander. Sunday, they had a brunch for the families before we all went home. And I had on my Mets home jersey, and he puts his arm around me. He goes, it's great to meet you finally. Patrick talks a lot about you. It was nice to see you. And he goes, hey, I like your jersey. I said, thank you, sir. He goes, better than that red rag you wore Friday.
Shots fired. Oh, boy.
The only issue I have with this year's game is that they're not letting it be played at Ohio State because Michigan took the punk way out last year.
Where are they playing?
It's in Ann Arbor because the odd numbered years it's in Ann Arbor, the even numbered years it's in Columbus. So the number one recruiting class in the country is going to the Big House. So I will be doing that on the road in November. But Big Rican can be found almost everywhere Alex can. We got to talk about iHeart. Anchor, Breaker, Spotify, Google, Ask Alexa. You can find us on there. Here on YouTube at Big Rican on Sports, Twitter at Big Rican on Sport, Facebook Big Rican on Sports. Alex, thank you so much again. I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks. I'm taking next week off, so there won't be anything. I'm going to do the Family of Baseball podcast on Sunday, I think, and then I will be off until we do the live event 2 weeks from tonight. Thank you again, sir. It was wonderful. Good luck to your Sox between now and the All-Star break.
Thank you. Good luck to your Mets as well.
Thank you. Really can't wait to watch Ohtani and Polar Bear fight it out in Home Run Derby.
There's still people who need to join in, right? It's not a full competition yet, right?
So far, it's Ohtani, it's Polar Bear, it's Trevor Story's doing it, and Mancini. There are 4 names I want to hear. Guerrero. Who's the National League guy I was thinking of? Harper, as much as I hate him. We need to see I would love to see Jose Ramirez. And the wild card in all this that I want to see, I want Judge in it. And I want Pete to take Judge down in the final.
It's all about beating the Yankees.
Yes, especially this weekend.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be in touch with you this week, and I know you might be a little bit on the mend, but
we don't see him again until September 10th, 11th, 12th.
Oh boy, you better get this one. Are you in Citi Field or are you in?
This is in the Bronx at the museum, and then remember I told you the September 11th game at Citi Field. That's the big one, obviously.
Gotcha. So this is in Little League Field that they play in.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Because the second home run Ohtani hit, he's hit 4 bombs in 2 games there.
I mean, all you have to do is hit it in the air to right field, and it's out. I'm sorry.
I could hit it out of there now. Yeah, well, the Mets are going to drop tonight. But I know we've been trying to sign up, but I want to see what's going on in the stadium. Ooh. It's 7-3 Yankees.
Really?
They lit him up.
I mean,
hold on. Let me see what his line was. Ohtani went 2/3 of an inning and gave up all 7 runs.
Wow.
His ERA is up to 3.6.
Did not see that coming. I mean, I know he's a decent, credible pitcher, but I don't he's not on the elite level in terms of pitching from my perspective. But
mine either.
that's just
Another shout out, Juan Lagares, former Met, playing center field to Mike Trout's stead. So I will see you guys I will see you in 2 weeks. Of course, I'll talk to you between now and then. And have a wonderful 4th of July. Happy to the family. Let's go Mets. Go Sox.
He was one man. Take care, man. All right.
I'll see you, bud.
All right.